Welcome to another episode of Stud and Dud presented by the Dallas School of Music. Thank you for listening. I'm Josh Smith. With me each week, the Doc, Dr. Bob Lawrence. What's up, Doc?
Josh, I'm looking forward to today's show, man. I'm telling you, I'm fired. You got me pumped.
Hey, and if there was one show that I'm nervous for,
yeah, this would be it.
This is going to be
because
it.
we're going to let Dad talk a little bit, man.
Yeah. Doc goes off. Let's get on tap today. Doc goes off again, and what's up, Doc? I can't wait to hear what you got.
Got a couple things.
I'm sure you've always got some craziness. We'll do a sports recap that includes the best 50 college football programs over the last 150 years.
Right, I saw that.
And, of course, in the coveted Stud or Dud segment, where it's once again back to the chamber of questions.
Oh,
it's all right. Your son's calling you real quick, but it's too late. You're in the chamber. You're locked into the chamber. Well, we have special guests. My father, a.k.a. Pop's dad, the Waveman, which we'll get into, formerly known as the Outlaw, Mr. Tommy Smith. Dad, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
I mean, I'm so pumped to see you here. I mean, I see you here. I can't wait to see you here. But maybe one day. Maybe we'll do a live show.
You'll see me in about 24, 36 hours.
Yeah. Right?
Right.
Exactly. But, man, hey, let's – what? Go ahead.
Let me get something out in the clear first.
Oh, here we go. Oh, jeez.
Doc, do you know who Josh's favorite football team is in the pros?
Oh, yeah. Oh, how could I not? He talks about it every time we get together.
Okay. Let me tell you something I found last night. I found a picture of Josh Smith wearing a Dallas Cowboy uniform with a star on the helmet and the number 34. He was a Cowboy fan.
I was, briefly.
Listen, man.
And do you remember what number you were wearing?
Me?
Yeah.
I remember the picture. It was that Herschel Walker jersey.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So he hasn't always been a Bronco fan. He jumped on the train when Elway came on.
Yeah, see, I knew he was a bandwagon guy. He's a bandwagon guy.
Oh, come on now. I mean, you're going to hit me in the...
To be honest with you, Doc, I was too. I was always a Cowboy fan going way back. But I got stationed in Denver, Colorado, in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in the Army in 1978 or 9 when they had the Orange Crush. An old Dallas quarterback, Craig Morton, was a quarterback, and I kind of got caught up in it, and I became a Bronco fan, and then Elway came along, and the rest is history. But as of recently, I don't know what I'm a fan of. I don't know about those Broncos.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you I know one team that he's always been a fan of that he never shuts up about, and that's them Arkansas Razorbacks, man. He talks about that all the time.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Doc, but we went 2-10 last year, so we're not going to talk about that today.
I knew that was going.
Listen, this is how bad. And when I was growing up, the Razorbacks were a top 10, top 20 team for about 30 years. Mm-hmm. They have won one conference game in the past 2 years.
That's awful.
One conference game in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So like I said, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, but I will tell you this, man. I used to love watching the Razorbacks, especially when Lou Holtz was coaching them. Man, they were dangerous. Dangerous team.
Well, they had a series of coaches. They had Frank Boros, Lou Holtz, Kent Hatfield, Houston Nutt.
Yeah.
But I don't know what we got now. Y'all can tell me about Chad Morris. Y'all are down in Texas where he came from.
Right.
They were grading him yesterday, and Pat Bradley gave him a B. And I was like, how can you give a guy who went 2-10 a B? Well, it was his first year. I would say you give him an incomplete.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
All right, well, let's get to what we do want to talk to today, more about you and your past. So let's get back. We did a little.
Yeah, go back in time.
So let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get into radio, and did you have any influences to become a radio personality, or DJ as they used to call them?
A long, long time ago, about 100 years ago, when we lived in Birmingham, Alabama, my daddy controlled the TV, and he'd watch shows I didn't like. And I fell in love with the radio. So much so I would crawl out on the roof with my AM radio, and at night, the radio stations that were mostly AM, and they could crank their power up to 50 or 100,000 watts. So I listened to radio stations in Chicago, Nashville. I even listened to, I think it was Randy Galloway in Dallas.
Wow.
KOMA in Denver. You could hear it, and I fell in love with it and knew that's what I wanted to do. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. But I had a hard time staying in school. So I dropped out of school one year and went to work for Brent Towing Company on the Mississippi River. The catch there was you worked 30 days and then you were off 30 days. I thought, what a deal. Well, they didn't tell you. You don't get paid for the 30 days you're I was a long-haired hippie type guy, and I was on a boat with a bunch of rednecks, and they beat the hell out of me. So when we got to Greenville, Mississippi, I faked a toothache and told them I had to go to the dentist, and I never looked back. I got on the bus and came home to Little Rock, went back to school, got into Votech, and just so happened the guy that ran the Votech was a radio guy and had a little radio station down on Main Street called KEWP, and it was a daytimer. And you've heard of gym rats. I was a radio rat.
Okay.
Every day after school, I would go down to that radio station and beg them to put me on the air, but they made me write copy and wrote. Well, they had radio stations back then that were called daytimers, which meant you signed on in the morning when the sun came up, but when the sun came down, you had to sign off, which meant in the summer, you were on longer.
Oh, yeah.
So they were looking for somebody to fill that 5 to 8 spot in the afternoon. They gave me that, and they all went home, and nobody listened to the radio station. It sucked. I mean, it was horrible. And I basically had the radio station to myself, play the music I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And back in those days, nobody used a real name. So we drove around one night smoking stuff you could smoke now. You couldn't smoke then. And I came up with the name TC Star.
That's right.
That's how it all got started. A little TC Star back at KWP AM radio in Little Rock.
Now, who was your influence? Did you have any? I guess it was just a multitude of people. I mean, was there one main one that you loved?
Wait a minute. Tom Records, Landecker out of Chicago. Of course, Casey Kasem, Dick Clark. Guys, you guys don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I bet one of your fans was Wolfman Jack.
I was a big fan of Wolfman Jack.
Oh, there you go, man.
Wolfie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Did you know Wolfman? Did you know Wolfman Jack?
I met him one time at a Sedalia. It was a mini Woodstock they had in Sedalia, Missouri. And I drove up with Tommy's mother, who divorced me and put me in a portal. At this music festival, I'll never forget, I got pulled over for drinking, and they put me in a hotel room, took my keys away, and the next day gave me my keys back and told me to go on.
What? Wow. That is a nice thing.
Then when I get to the festival, I drive through the gates, and all the car trunks are open, and people are selling weed out of the back of their trunk. And I was like, of course, I was only 19 at the time, but I thought, this is what heaven is all about.
Yeah, there we go. This is my profession.
Josh, when I mentioned Wolfman Jack, Josh thought I was talking like outer space or something. It's way before his time.
That's where I met the Wolfie, baby.
Okay.
That's where I met the Wolfie. And of course, it was like meeting a god to me. I was 19 at the time, so it was a big deal to me.
Sure.
All right. So, and I love hearing. I've heard a couple of them, but you can just whatever ones you like to mention. Of course, the ones I'm about to, but just literally, not so much that they have these anymore, but literally talk about some of those jobs that came around with being a DJ back in the 70s or the 80s. You know, give me some of those stories. Of course, the high school. I've heard the high school dance where Sandy and you got thrown out. Of course, the mud wrestling incident where your back was forever broken, essentially. Let's talk about some of those fun stories.
You're talking back in the day when you used records and had to use turntables and all that stuff, and it's come so far, so far. I mean, I punch a button now, and I'd have to do 10 things back then. I'd only have to do one up now. But yeah, I did high school dances. I did reunions, $75 a pop. Friday and Saturday nights, I was usually gone away from your mom and did those things, and we had a hell of a time.
Oh yeah,
of course, we drank up most of the money we made. We drank on the way up there and on the way back.
I bet. I mean, even to Monday Night Football, and I guess I was telling it, me and Mom got to used to watch MacGyver because you were doing Monday Night Football at Diego's.
Yeah, but that was long before anybody had done something like that. And, of course, you know Diego's, and we started that down there, and that had about a good 10-year run. Boy, it wore me, though.
I'll bet. All right, now let's get to at least one.
We always tried to do something different. I remember going to Florida once, and they had the mullet toss. Who could throw a mullet, which is a fish, the furthest? And I knew we didn't have any mullet in Little Rock, but I thought, what a neat idea. It's so stupid. So we had a carp throwing contest, and it came off, and it was a big hit. But here's the funny part. No women would ever enter until they had a couple of margaritas. And then those women would get out there throwing dead fish in a parking lot, and I'm like, This is what radio's all about.
I remember what's funny. I remember one of those at Diego's one year having to be a fish fetcher. I was fetching them for you because I'd go fetch them and the next person would try to throw it if it wasn't torn up enough yet.
So the next thing we tried was tricycle race, and that was a big hit until somebody fell and sued us, and we had to stop that. Just one of many times I've been sued.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Oh yeah.
I bet.
All right, so we got it. I want to hear at least one of them. At least I want Doc to hear one of them. Whichever one you'd rather mention: the high school dance with Sandy or the mud wrestling incident where your back was forever tortured. Whichever one you got to tell.
The mud wrestling thing. It was women's mud wrestling, minor league baseball.
And that's why I wanted you to tell it because Doc's a big baseball fan, so that's why I wanted you to go. This is in the middle of a minor league baseball game, Doc. When was it? Middle of the game? Beginning of the game? When was it, Dad?
It was at the beginning of the game. It was a bunch of women called the Chicago Knockers, and they called me out that afternoon and choreographed everything. You won't get hurt. We'll throw you this way. We'll throw you that way. We'll pin you, and it'll be over. I said, "Well, that's cool. That'll be fine." Come game time, they get me out there, and they beat the holy hell out of me. They threw me off the ropes, They threw me into the crowd once, and I thought, oh, God, thank God. Then they picked me up and threw me back in the ring and beat that. And I remember I got so beat up and so sick, I was throwing up in the visitor's dressing room, and Bill Valentine, who orchestrated the whole thing, came by and looked in and said, "Good job. You want a beer?"
And Valentine was the Travelers, owner, or what was he? What GM or what?
Oh yeah,
for the Arkansas Travelers, which I'm sure you've heard of, Arkansas Travs.
He had Captain Dynamite. He had all kinds of promotions like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. That is funny.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but if you guys get into radio, don't ever mess with no female mud wrestling.
It just because you know me, Dad, into wrestling, I could just see them going, "Yeah, we're gonna do this, this, and this," and they're all looking at each other, winking, going, "We're gonna beat him the hell up."
There, before you told the story, I thought there was something a little kind of sexy about female mud wrestlers, but now after I've heard the story, man, I don't want anything to do with them.
No.
Well, I was kind of a smart ass at that time, but I made up my mind when we have this rehearsal. Be nice. Don't be mean. Don't smart off. Don't do anything. So I said, okay, yes, okay, I can do that. And we get up there that night, and they turned me every which way but loose. I mean, they flipped me. They pounded on me. They bounced on me. And don't ever do that, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, man, that's a good tip. I'm tucking that one away.
Yeah, don't ever. So just for fun, if you can remember all of them, I know you mentioned one. Let's start with that first one there in Little Rock, and let's run through the stations and where they were throughout the years.
Worked at KEWP in Little Rock. Then my father-in-law at the time, who didn't think too much of me, owned a radio station that I worked at, and he suggested I join the Army and get a college degree, and I could take Armed Forces Network. Well, when I went to sign up, I just told them I wanted to get into radio. The next thing I know, I'm in Fort Carson, Colorado, working on radios inside tanks. So I spent 4 years there in the Army. Turned me around, changed me a little bit, but it was what I had in mind. But I tell you,
that is hilarious.
I thought I was going to be the Good Morning Vietnam guy. And here I am fixing radios and tanks, which I still never figured out. And I got out and went to work at KKFM in Colorado Springs, and they didn't like me too much because in Colorado the phrases y'all and biscuits and gravy didn't go over too well.
Oh my gosh!
So they put me on all nights, and I just got divorced. So I moved back to Little Rock, got the job there at Magic 105. And the way I got the job at Magic 105, I was a radio rat. I would not leave Tom Wood alone for the entire summer of 1980. And he finally called me right at the last minute. He said, "Will you work for $150 a week?" I said, "I'm in." I am in. And got started there and went over to Memphis for a little bit, but didn't like the big market. Had a couple of tragedies over there and came back home and have been very happy ever since.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just the funny stories just running through. I know Doc would just love these. I know it'd crack him up hearing some of the stuff. I mean, just even some of the stuff he'd done with, like, there was a thing he did for a while. It was fat ass versus skinny ass. How many years did y'all do fat ass versus skinny ass?
A couple of 3 years.
Yeah.
The North Little Rock police weren't fond of it.
Yep, and I'm sure because they did it right out in front of those old school radio stations where you had the glass and you could. And so they'd do it right out front.
It was about 100 degrees for about 5 days in a row, and we had a guy called himself Fat Ass, and he was about 350 pounds. So we thought having him sit on a block of ice and see how long it would take to melt. Well, he was out there till noontime. First year, the cops didn't mind it, but the second year it got to be a spectacle, and people were driving by, slowing down traffic, seeing how long this fat ass could sit on this block of ice. And one day a cold front came through, and it was the day he was supposed to sit on my ice. He sat on that block of ice for 13 hours.
Oh, my gosh. I don't remember that. That's nuts.
But the best one ever, I got you asked me about this. Had a sidekick named Crawford, and he was our stunt boy. And he would go to grocery stores and make a peanut butter sandwich. Just go get peanut butter, put it on a piece of bread, get jelly, put it on there, and then take the sandwich up to the checkout stand and say, how much does this cost? And, of course, they flabbergasted him, and Crawford would repeat everything I told him to repeat. And I told him, please, ma'am, hurry. I'm about to soil my trousers. And he actually said that on the radio. And they're trying to figure out how he's going to pay for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He didn't buy the peanut butter and jelly and the bread. He just made a sandwich. But the best thing he ever did was on Valentine's Day, where 30 meets 40. That's nowhere near Dallas traffic. But it's a busy intersection.
Heavy for Little Rock.
There's a plot of land out
Heavy
there.
as it gets.
And we sent our stunt boy out there with a mannequin who was clad only in lingerie with a shovel, and had him bury her at that busy intersection. Now, here's this Asian guy out there burying what appears to be a woman clad only in lingerie, and this traffic's whizzing by.
On live radio.
The funny part to me always was not the people that were listening to us. It was the people who weren't listening to us, who were driving by and seeing this. Needless to say, about 8 state troopers showed up within 5 minutes. And Crawford had that was a long story, but that was probably the one that got us in the most trouble.
All right, so I want to get to one of the greatest things you've, obviously, to me, definitely up there you've ever done. Let's get to this billboard idea, where it came from and what it spawned to. And I mean, I say at least around $1 million essentially you probably raised over your year for the American Cancer Society. But point me in, I want to go back to the billboard. Let's go all the way back to 1990-ish, whatever year that first year was, and who thought of it? I know it's somebody your brainchild, but what was the idea, and then what it became over the 10, 20 years afterward?
Well, golly, I don't know what year it was. Anyhow, a coworker of mine's daughter had leg cancer. And so we got with the American Cancer Society and wanted to know how we could raise money. And somebody came up with the right idea, get up on a billboard. And I thought, hell, I'll do it. I'll get up there. And so I stayed up there. And it'd be, come by and get $25. You can throw 3 water balloons at Tommy, da-da-da. Well, this one guy comes out with a potato gun. Ooh. And he unloaded on me with that potato gun and beat the holy hell out of me. Second time I got the hell beat out of me in my career. But the first year we got $10,000. Then I agreed to spend the night up there, and I think the second year we got $25,000. And it evolved that we had the governor up there, the governor's wife, Coach Broyles. We had everybody come by. By the time it reached its peak, we were getting about $100,000 a year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which at that time was a hell of a lot of money. Right. And I'm happy we were able to do that.
And I think we still have that wig and Cabot that they put that. Remember they put that tin up there that one year, and they put that fake wig that you were actually.
Yeah, well that was the year after I spent the night up there, and I thought, I'm not doing this again. Yeah. I'm not sleeping up in the.
That was a bad idea.
It wasn't in the best neighborhood, and I figured somebody'd drive by one night and take a pot shot at me. So the next year, they put a dummy up in there and a light so the silhouette would appear that somebody was up there. That's just that's a sidebar.
Wow,
Right.
that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, they did. It was funny. I'd never forget it. All right, so we've went over a ton of funny moments. Let's go over probably out of all your years, all the people you've interviewed, who was your greatest moment, like your shining moment? I mean, you've got to interview, I could go through all the list of names from Beverly D'Angelo, which we love the vacation movies, to the Jack Nicklaus. You know, we've got tons of people that you've interviewed. Who's your favorite, your shining moment of all the years? What's your greatest moment? Obviously, let's get to your greatest moment first, and then we'll get to your favorite interview. But what's your greatest moment in all the years? What was your shining moment in, you know, of all you've done, the 30, 40 years of radio? 40 plus years, obviously.
My shining moment was when I went to Memphis. I thought, this is going to be my step to big time. I got to Memphis and got a couple of calls. I was only going to go one place, and that was Denver. And I got a call from Boston. I got a call from Portland. I got a call from Nashville. And I actually went over to Nashville and interviewed for the job. But I thought, no, the big city life is just not for me. And besides me saying y'all in Boston ain't going to work. It's just not going to work. And I ain't going to have to talk about biscuits and gravy and grits. So I came back to Little Rock. I made more money, thank God. And I thought, I know everything about radio now. Now I know everything. I'm going to kill this market. First book comes out, we get a 2.5, which is like 10th place, and I was shattered. 1 year later, we were number one, and that was the number one shining moment in my life.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
finally getting to number one. 1 year complete turnaround from. I mean, that's awesome. Now,
Champion.
Because I was so cocky and so confident when I came back from Memphis. And you talk about a humbling experience.
Yeah.
Because they paid me a lot of money to come back, and I got a 2.5. That year later, we had a 14.8, and we got the rest is history. The market has been very, very good to your dad.
So what, Tommy? What changed? What happened? That transition. What do you credit that to?
They let me do what I want to do.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And I got more involved with talking. Back in the old days, I just played records and introed and outroed them. Well, I got to where I talked about stuff.
Yeah.
And people related to me. I was from here. And it's Josh, you will know this. It's the old Ned Permy, Paul Eels rule. You can stick anybody you want to. Though that's a weathercaster and a sportscaster who died tragically in a car wreck. You could put anybody between them, and they're still going to be number one. It's just a matter of the audience growing with you and staying with you and getting to know you. And over time, people are slow to change, man.
Mm-hmm.
They are slow to change. I mean, when you listen to a radio station, you guys do it. You listen to them for a reason. And over the years, I just developed quite a following. Had great people, Basil, Roger, Big Dave. And it just developed over the years to where we had a pretty good thing going. So in fact, about half those guys have their own radio shows now.
Yep. That's great.
All right, favorite interview out of all the people, all the big names. What was your favorite one? You couldn't wait to interview, and you just were just glowing when you were interviewing them.
We've had Clinton, we've had Bush, we've had Mike Trout, we've had, but beyond a shadow of a doubt, Jack Nicklaus.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
The bear, the golden bear.
And that was an accident because we were giving away tickets to whoever could get the most famous person to call in to the Eagles. And Glenn Dave's wife was listening and called Jack Nicklaus, and he called in for that reason.
Wow.
And we ended up getting like a 20-minute interview with Jack Nicklaus in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. So
and obviously, you know how I love golf, so that was it for me.
So, who out of all your interviews, who was the nicest individual that you interviewed?
Jay Leno.
No kidding, Jay Leno.
I almost sound like I said, "Oh wow," but
right. And
Jay Leno, he was in the studio and he was good.
Oh, so you met him, didn't you? Right, you met Leno.
Yep.
Was he just kind of down to earth?
Yeah, he was just. This was before he hit it big, but he was just a guy. I mean, he talks about cars.
Yeah,
he loves cars.
Right.
But he was down to earth, nice guy. The worst, Stevie Nicks.
Oh, really?
And you loved. Did that change the way you felt about Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, kinda. And I shouldn't have said that about her, but she was.
Hey, some are. I mean, yeah. I mean, you get to know some.
My gosh.
Or, especially
right.
you've interviewed so many, and what you have to deal with behind the scenes or before the interview, so you kind of know them.
Josh,
Do
when
what?
it comes to females, you know what the highlight was.
Oh, Faith Hill. I'm sure if you got to. Did you interview?
Faith Hill. It was like when Moses went up on the mountain, his hair was brown, and when he came down, his hair was white. That was me.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we're about to go. You're leaving later today. We've got to get to it. Let's talk about how you met the beautiful mother, obviously your beautiful wife, my mom, and how you discovered the Emerald Coast. Or the Redneck Riviera, as we call it.
Which has been the key to my success, and I owe her everything. I recruited. I went to a party to try to pick up another girl, but I saw your mother, and I was like, "That's it." I had not even heard her speak or anything. Got to talking with her. We took a walk. I put a gardenia behind her ear, kissed her, and that was it. But she was living down on the Redneck Riviera at the time, so I had to recruit her. So I recruited and finally got her up here. She was up here about 3 months, and then she went back and went into the portal. She decommitted. So I had to recruit her all over again, and finally got married 37 years ago, and the rest is history.
Oh, awesome.
So that's how, I guess, obviously you discovered y'all. How did y'all discover? I mean, I guess she told you about, like, hey, you've got to see these white sands. I mean, how did you see the white sands? How did y'all first kind of discover that?
That's basically how it happened.
Yeah.
I went down there on a recruitment trip, and she said, "I want to show you something," because she kind of wanted me, I think, to get a job at radio down there, but on the coast they don't pay nothing. They just don't.
Yeah.
But that was basically it, and I saw that for the first time, and I was like, I know where I'm going every summer for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And it's been, 35 years?
Yes. Literally, since I've been, exactly. Since before I've been around. So, yes, exactly. And it was started. We've been going ever since. And
he'll be there tonight.
Since you were a Cowboy fan.
Yeah. He had to do it. Waveman had to go. That's where he got the Waveman, because he'd go down there, he gets on that raft. I mean, these waves just come pouring in. Waveman, he's right there on that wave. He'll be the only one out there, and he's like, come on, bring it. When Waveman was in his prime, that's why he got Waveman.
Well, I'm on the senior tour now.
Okay, there you go. All right, and just for both y'all can both chime in on this one. Dad, I know you're just a little older, but okay, it's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. It started yesterday was the 50th anniversary. What do you remember? And would you have won if you could have?
I got to tell you, Josh, I was not that big. Woodstock was rock.
Yeah.
And I was more of a pop music guy. The Archies and the Partridge Family, and I'm still a closet fan of Barry Manilow. But
I don't think that's a closet fan. I think everyone knows how much you love Barry Manilow. Hey, I like Barry Manilow. It's not. We love Barry Manilow.
But I looked up some facts and figures today, and at that time, they were worried that they would not get 50,000 people to come to that thing. And they only printed up 50,000 tickets. They ended up getting 500,000 people there.
Wow.
1 day was $7, 2 days was $13, 3 days was $17. And the talent that was assembled there at that time in rock and roll, it'll never be matched.
Oh, no.
But I was not that big. I wasn't a hippie at that time.
And
I hadn't become a hippie yet.
Yeah, and imagine you mentioned those prices that you threw out to me, which I had no idea. I'd never looked that up. Nowadays, that would literally be like it'd be like $200, $400, and $600. It'd be $200 for 1 day, or if not more than that for that lineup. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You could have seen that much talent.
Josh, I was reading a story about Creedence Clearwater Revival was supposed to go on at 8 o'clock. They went on at 3 a.m.
Wow, I remember kind of hearing somewhat sort of.
CCR,
and they said out of 500,000 people there, not one arrest.
Wow, they let them live and they let them have some fun.
Can you imagine getting 500,000 people together today and nobody gets arrested?
Good point.
No, you get 400,000 arrested.
Yeah.
Out of 500.
Yeah. And finally, I guess when they got to about 70,000, they just took the fences down and said, "Everybody, come on in."
So, yeah. Hey, Tommy, it's kind of interesting, man, as you're telling your stories from the radio world. I'm a musician, so I grew up a musician.
Yeah.
That's all I've done my whole life. And, musicians have stories too. And but I got to tell you, man, I thought musician stories were wild and crazy, but I'm starting to, just in listening to you speak, I'm kind of thinking we take the back seat to the radio guys.
Well, if you want to be a musician, I'll tell you just like I tell Josh, keep pushing. Keep pushing, keep pushing. And you got to remember, I got a lot of years to put those memories in. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me the other day, if my career were a golf course, where would I be? And I think I'm in the fairway on 17.
There you go.
Good for you, man.
19th hole's looking good.
So real quick, in the music industry over the last 40 years, I have seen so many changes due to technology advances. I can sit here in my office, and my office is basically a recording studio. That would not be the case, 20 years ago. And so technology has just revolutionized how people make music, record music, promote music, marketing, everything. So could you just talk a little bit about the transition? You were back, playing records and reel to reel and tape decks and now today in 2019, can you just magnify a little bit the differences, the transitions over the years in the radio business?
Back when I got in radio, there were 3 formats. There was country, there was pop, and there was R&B. Now it's so fragmented that there's no one. Like back in the day, you could play Kenny Rogers back to back with Led Zeppelin. You couldn't do that now.
Right.
You couldn't do it.
Right.
You could not play Led Zeppelin back to back with. It's fragmented.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Right.
Well, it makes sense. That's just the way of the world.
It would make no sense today. It would make no sense today. It makes perfect sense then. I wish it were like that today.
Yeah.
All right, Pops.
And my phone's cutting out a little bit there. I stumbled.
You're good. You're good. No,
I fumbled on the 2, and I just hit it. I just hit it in the rough.
There we go. All right. Now let's get on to the chamber of questions. Let's get through some fun questions. And I've added a couple that this week that I haven't asked a couple of people that I was like, oh, these would be good questions, great questions, that I'm going to start asking from around out. So you've inspired me, Pops. You've inspired me to ask better questions. So let's get to the questions that everyone wants to know and everyone's got to be asked. Your all-time favorite sport?
College football.
Ooh, there you go.
Nice.
NCAA, I love it. All right, your all-time favorite team.
Well, you got to remember, Arkansas doesn't have any pro franchise.
Exactly.
All we got's the Razorbacks.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Birmingham when Joe Namath, as a matter of fact, my mother met Joe Namath at a bowling alley. And that was my first favorite player ever.
Wow.
Broadway Joe.
So college football.
Gotcha. Your favorite team of all time? You know what? How about we do this? Because I know you're torn between 2. How about we do this? Your favorite team yearly, as in was it the 97 Broncos, the 94 Razorbacks, the 70 or the 60 whatever Razorback football team? What was your favorite team ever yearly?
It was the 19. Boy, now I'm approaching the 18th tee because I'm going to say the 69 Arkansas Razorbacks in the big shootout. Number 1, number 2. The president was there. Clinton was there. Bush was there. Colonel Sanders was there. It was the only game showed on TV, and half the TVs in America tuned in for that game.
Huge.
And Arkansas led 14-0 going in the 4th quarter for the national championship and blew it. But that was my favorite team.
Yep.
That was it.
Are your favorite player?
Backus was my man.
Oh, man. Favorite player athlete of all time?
John Elway.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I love it. If you could have went pro in one sport, and I know it's
let me ask you. Are you going to go Elway or Jordan?
You can ask him. All right, I'll tell you. It's
Jordan. It's Jordan for him. Jordan.
He think. I've torn between the two because I have so many Jordan shoes. But no, the number. What's my favorite number?
7.
So it's if they're, and I hate to say 1A, 1B. 1A would be Elway, John Elway. 1B would be Jordan. Honestly, probably in the end. What team do I talk about all the time?
I got to tell you again. I'll take myself. I really loved Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, I know. Did y'all never? So you never interviewed? You never got him on the show?
Nope. Got Nicholas, didn't get Palmer.
Yeah, I knew that. I was like, say, I would have known because that would have been your favorite. All right, so if you, but yeah, it's Elway for me. If it's in the end, it's L. I love Jordan, but I love Broncos. There's that tie in there, the blue and the orange. So there's just too much blood there. Love Jordan and all, but it's.
I like Namath. I like Unitas. I like the Snake Kent Stabler. But when it comes down to it, I was an Elway guy.
All right, if you could win pro in any sport, like I said, I know it's down to 2. Which one it would have been? I'm thinking golf or football.
To play?
Yeah, if you could have went pro in any sport, what sport could you? If you could have went pro, if you were really good, if you could have went pro, what would you went pro in?
And I'm really good.
Yeah, baby. Golf. There we go. That's what I figured. Yeah.
Football be there, but I think I could adapt to a golf lifestyle.
And guess what? How long are you gonna play golf? You can play golf forever.
Well, I'm going to try.
All right, all-time favorite art. Let's get to some entertainment. All-time favorite artist, band, group. Buffett. Your favorite song of all time. Your go-to song. You got to get happy or you want to get in a good mood or it's just your all-time favorite song.
Yeah, your millennial audience is going to hate me.
No, it's all right.
For your mother, it would be a song I love for her called The Wonder of You by Elvis. You sang it, or you had it played
at the wedding.
Yeah,
that was the song we danced to. That was our first dance song.
That's a great tune.
Yeah.
Beautiful song. All right, your favorite. Go ahead.
If you listen to the words and you're in love, that song will mean a lot.
Hell, I mean Avery loved it. Before she wanted to, she's the one that mentioned it. I'm like when she mentioned that, Dad, to me literally, and I think it was I forgot where I was at because I wasn't around. I literally stopped what I was doing, and went in there and stared. I was like, "Did you really just say that?" She was like, "Yeah, I love that song. I want Wonder of You." I'm like, my parents are gonna cry. You just picked Wonder of You for our first dance.
You knew who Elvis was, right?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay.
Hello, I know music.
I just wanted to make sure you knew who Elvis was.
All right, your favorite era, decade of music: the '60s, the '70s, the '80s. When was it, Dad?
I gotta say '70s.
'70s. All right. Your favorite type of music? I guess we kind of that popish kind of old.
Yeah, bubblegum.
Bubblegum pop.
I like bubblegum music.
All right,
I'm a 65-year-old man who likes bubblegum.
Hey, baby, I like it too. You got me turned on to it forever ago. Hey, it's a heartbeat, it's a love beat. What? Go ahead, what? I'm just singing It's a Heartbeat, It's a Love Beat song. I'm singing some old bubblegum song.
Osmonds, Rock Me Gently by Andy Kim. We used to sing that on vacation all the time.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I'd say 70s. 70s pop.
Top concert of all time you've ever been to?
Eagles.
There you go. Dream concert. Someone you never saw, you wish you could have saw them.
I want y'all to think about this, though. Before we go. The Eagles are by far America's greatest band. They've covered 5 decades. Joe Walsh has had a solo career.
Oh, yeah.
Don Henley, Glenn Frey.
Henley lives right here.
The Eagles by far. What was your next question?
I said, I definitely said agree with you with the Eagles by far and away for sure. I was going to say your dream concert, someone you didn't get to see that you wish you could have seen.
Elvis.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that would have been wow. All right, if you could play one instrument, go what? What were you gonna say?
Just because he was Elvis, I'd like to see what that was all about.
Oh yeah, that or the Beatles. I didn't know which one you're gonna go to. I figured it'd be one of the two.
Well, I saw McCartney, so yeah, the Beatles.
Right there you go. Exactly. Boom, boom. All right, so if you could play for Doc, if you could play one instrument, what would it be, Dad?
Piano.
There we go. See. Just right in the roots. It's in the roots, Doc.
It's the best.
It's in the roots. All right. All-time favorite TV show?
Man.
I know.
Golly, I like Andy Griffith. I'd probably say Andy Griffith.
So over Seinfeld.
Man, you know what I thought? You know what came to mind? I thought he was going to pull out a set. I thought you were going to pull out a '70s shows like Chips.
No. I'd go Andy Griffith and Seinfeld 1A.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, and he loves. We still watch Andy Griffith. I mean, hell, we'll be in Florida next week. I guarantee you, one episode of Andy Griffith will be watched, if not multiple.
Okay.
All right. Hey, probably some 70s show. Hey, it'll be range. That's what I love about it. You'll get some 60s, some 70s, and next thing you know, we're in the 90s. All right. So we're gonna go favorite movie of all time.
Oh, golly, this is going to sound so immature. Vacation.
Oh, yeah, go, baby. All right. So let's get to some other...
And if it were vacation, it'd be Christmas vacation.
Love Christmas Vacation.
I've got a warped mind.
Okay. Well, it's an entertaining mind, man.
All right. Your all-time dream car. You see him in movies. If you could have that all-time dream car, what was it?
Jaguar.
No, Jaguar. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite number? What's your go-to? Mine's 7. Yours is?
20.
20. Oh. All right. Let's get to some food. Everyone loves food. We got to talk food. Cake or pie? You going cake or you going pie?
Well, you asked a tough question. Boy, I'm going to go pie.
That's the chamber. You're in the chamber. All right. So you're going to go pie. What's your favorite?
Chamber.
What's your favorite pie?
Chocolate.
Candy or ice cream? I know that's a tough one for you, but I think it's candy probably, eh?
Answering all these questions, I feel like somebody should ask me to step out of the car.
You're locked up in the shackles. All right, so candy or ice cream?
Ice cream.
All right, what's your favorite ice cream? What flavor? Chocolate?
Vanilla.
Ooh, vanilla.
Ooh.
All right, pancakes or waffles?
Hey, you could do a lot of things with vanilla.
Oh, yeah, you can.
yeah.
You can flavor it up. You going pancakes, you going waffles?
Pancakes.
Bacon or sausage with it?
Pie goes to bacon.
All right, you going cheeseburger or tacos?
Damn. Cheeseburger.
Well, we're almost through the chain, but you're almost through. Your go-to cereal?
I'm about to tee off on number 18, I feel like.
All right, come on. What's your go-to cereal?
Golly, Captain Crunch of all time.
Oh, I
Good.
love Captain
Yes.
Crunch.
All right. Here's that new question I've added, which I love. Favorite day of the year? Your birthday, Christmas, or the day you leave for vacation?
Day I leave for vacation.
That's what I figured. And now, the favorite destination you've ever visited. Where is it?
Scotland.
Ooh, that was a recent trip, wasn't it? How beautiful was it there?
It was. I should have said that was a highlight of my career because it was.
Oh, there you go. And I was gonna say, is that your all-time? Is it your all-time dream destination?
I've always wanted to go to Ireland, and somebody arranged a trip to Scotland, and I said, "That's close enough. I'm in." Here's the kicker, though. I didn't have to pay for it.
That's right, baby. All right, the last question, the one, and you out of the chamber after this one. Your last meal. What are you eating, and what 3 people are you inviting, dead or alive?
I'm having your mom's meatloaf, mashed potatoes, black-eyed peas, Arkansas tomatoes, and what?
What 3 people are you inviting, dead or alive?
Oh, wow. You know, I've thought about that.
I've had many meals with you, Dad. You don't have to invite me. I promise you. It's all good. You better invite Mom, though.
All right. I'm going to chorus you and your mom. And I'm going to say, I don't know why Arnold Palmer name comes up, but Arnold Palmer, my grandfather, and Faith Hill.
Oh, well, there's a dinner right there.
Hey. Don't bring this up to your mother.
Oh, yeah. I'll exit this out of the... This will just get edited out of the episode.
I'm just gonna be the waiter at that meal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. All right, Pops. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a safe flight tonight, and I'll be talking to you in a little bit. But yeah, I can't wait to see you tomorrow at the beach and get nice and golden with you and have some good food at the beach, which we talked about last week. So it was a great day to have you.
I'm so looking forward to it, Josh. Good talking to you.
Tommy, thanks for being on the show.
You're the man, Pops. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you later.
I hope I done you good. Have a good day.
Oh, you did amazing. You're the outlaw. You kidding me?
The Outlaw.
I love you, Dad.
And remember, guys,
Yep.
Whatever you want to do, keep pushing.
That's right. We're going to keep pushing, baby. Hey, reach for the stars. That's
All
right. Love you, Dad.
I'll let you explain this one to him, Josh. AMF.
Hey, I will. Hey, about this one, Dad, from your guy, Casey Kasem. Keep your head in the stars, but keep your feet on the ground, or something like keep your feet on the ground and head in the stars?
That's it.
That's right. I knew I was close.
Casey Kasem.
That's right, baby. I love you, Dad. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, love you. Bye.
All right, AMF. Yeah, an AMF, that's old school. So, like, back in the day, there he hung up. Back in the day, all the great stories. We could, once again, certainly have Pops on, for sure, again, because
that's fun. That was fun.
That's tipping the iceberg of
That's
a lot
fun.
of the stories, which I just kind of sent him just so he knew what to talk about.
Yeah.
I sent those to him. But the AMF, at one point in time, my point being at certainly the height of Magic 105, which was their rock and roll station that he worked for, where they played a lot of music. Now he's, like I said, transferred over to 103.7 The Buzz with Basil and them around 2003. But before that, that late 90s, where you could really do anything on the radio, right before, they kind of that barrier in the Howard Stern days.
Right.
Anywho, they had a dictionary that was literally printed, and it was like a pamphlet that people bought out that had all their little terms in it. And one of them was AMF. Adios, mother. Boop.
Yes.
And so AMF, man, every time you got off, AMF, everyone would be calling in, 'cause that's what the thing too. I'm like, Dad, if you can remember, I want you to write down. I'll have him do it beforehand. Write down all the different names you remember from all your different callers, like fat ass, skinny ass. You had meat man. You had names out the wazoo. Wrestling. You had so many names.
Right.
So yes, my point being, guys will be any normal caller. Oh, it's Jeff from Wazoo. Where you know what I mean? AMF, man, AMF, brother. That's when you hang up. AMF. You're saying that's
hilarious. That's your buy. Yeah, that's hilarious.
So anytime I hear that, I think back to that. And every once in a while, it's still brought up on the show. But yeah, good stories, great. And I'm sure overall, especially those premier rockers, have definitely crazier stories. But yeah, I'm telling you, those radio guys, especially back in the day.
Listen, man. Yeah, I thought musicians were crazy. The radio, from getting from your dad, man, that's a wild group right there, man.
Yeah, it's a wild bunch to be with for sure.
Did you know who Wolfman Jack was?
I remember the name. I don't like if I say, I remember, but the name, certainly. But
he was the guy, man.
Oh, speaking of a radio, Dad would. I remember it was the worst thing for me as a kid growing up. I wanted to listen to radio, so I eventually kind of did what he did, and then he reverted. I mean, he was always the one with.
Right.
But before he reverted to the little old school headset where you could listen to radio, I remember like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Right. Well, he would literally, anytime we were in the car, always listen to talk radio. He'd be listening to Limbaugh, or he'd be listening to Ray. I forgot what the guy's name was in Little Rock. Ray, I think it was Ray. I forgot what his name was. But there was a lot of, he would always be listening to him and just getting tidbits from him, or learning, or just whatever he was doing and just studying. But then, that on top of the fact of, trying to get in there being a radio rat, but he was always listening to other.
Yeah, hopefully we can have him here in person. That'd be fun.
Oh, definitely. Well, they're not, and I just verify they're not, unfortunately, because we're not going to be so good this year. I don't think they're coming down every year forever when they've had the Southwest Classic when we play A&M.
They'd make the trip.
But this is the first year that they're.
Man, maybe next year, man.
Hey, well, I'm still going to push them to come down. Like, y'all can still come down.
Yeah,
I want to
right.
see y'all. I want to see my parents.
Right. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an athletic event.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Or a music event.
Definitely great stories. Love having them on. We'll get into some more of that other stuff next time. But I just had to tip the iceberg.
Awesome.
It's crazy.
Man.
I mean,
that was fun.
Those guys that get into radio even here, they're not dealing with that. They may be doing some stuff similar, but it's nothing like it.
I tell you, man, there's nothing like coming from the old days, man. The old school stuff.
All right, so you ready for? Have you got your segment up with What's Up, Doc?
No,
what are you going to talk about?
I got a couple. Things. I
got
two things.
What's up,
number one. Did you see where this Michael Jordan card is selling on eBay? Did you see this?
I did.
Did you put your bid in?
It was one of only, I think, 10 ever printed. I think they made, or 15 or something. 15, yep.
Yeah, I checked this morning. The bidding is up over $10,000.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we've talked about this on this show.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, cards go for a lot of money.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's insane.
I'm hoping one of mine at home, I have back home. I get home eventually, and I see that it's not even. But yeah, I collected cards. I don't have any of these that are super, super rare. But man, it's crazy how that little piece of paper.
Here's what I think the rule should be.
What?
If you could spend $10,000 on a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should be, if you got that kind of money that you can waste on a card, then you match that bid for some kind of charitable organization.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? And if you don't have that kind of money that you can match that bid to a charitable organization, don't be stupid and buy the card.
Yeah.
That should be the rule.
I mean, especially these guys spending 100, the ones that are on 100 plus the 10, that's okay. I'm not saying that's okay. It's a lot of money. But those ones that are, they get, and this one's just, it's tipping the ice. You get my point. It really ramps up those last few hours and minutes because that's when people are really racing and those bids just start flying up. But yeah, the ones, and I'm sure it could, my point being, get up to that 100K mark. But those ones that, you see, that's a year's salary, or that's two people's salary. I mean, most people, what is the average salary for a U.S.? It's like it's less than $100,000. So you're literally, that's more than someone makes in a year after taxes.
Correct.
And you're spending that on a little.
Yeah, correct.
I love Michael Jordan.
I know you do. I thought of you when I saw
the.
the story. I thought of you. I said, I bet Josh bid on this.
Synced it. No, did not. Yeah, maybe if it was like they started at like $1. I would have bid it. Hey, I bid on that for fun at 120.
I'd be curious if a card went on the market like that, and the caveat was this: whatever you end up spending, you have to match that.
Yeah.
In some charitable organization.
What they should do, because you see a lot of these auctions, like at golf tournaments, that's what they do. It's for, some of this times it's for, a charitable cause. So yeah, I think that's what. And my point, I know what your point was, to see what the bidding gets to. Say, hey, whatever this, pay it, whatever, this is yours, but you have to match whatever it costs in the end. And donate that to donate your charity of
your choice, right? Otherwise, you shouldn't be stupid enough to be spending that kind of money on a car.
Because $10,000.
That's a lot of bread.
That goes a lot of way for people that don't have a lot of money.
Yes, it does.
Especially the charities and so on and so
Absolutely.
forth. I mean, $10,000 goes
Correctly.
a long way in their
right.
book. Because they're budgeting the right way.
Correct.
Not going, here's $10,000 for a piece of card.
Right. So, and the other thing, that drove me crazy this week, all the press on the old Epstein case,
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to talk about the Epstein case, but I am going to talk about men or women that are pedophiles. Leave children alone.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's the weirdest thing.
Just stop.
I watch Live PD, and we'll do the missing segment. Just multiple things you see throughout life, wherever you're watching, however you're watching, because you see it. I'm sure it happens daily. But I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I mean, everyone's minds, and they're twisted, and they're crazy. But I don't see how it's twisted, that messed up in there, to where that leads to that.
Well, it's we wonder why somebody will walk into a Walmart and fire guns all over the place.
And then why exactly.
Right?
I mean,
stop messing with children.
So crazy.
Whether it's sexually, mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever.
Don't mess with them,
Don't mess with
Help
our
them.
children.
Yeah, those are minds that, oh man, especially how easily they can be molded.
And as a father of 4,
and then how they're gonna be messed up for the rest of their lives, because they're just so many different things you can think about instantly. But
So
especially you being a father of 4. I mean, my God.
Father of 4, I see how children depend on us. They need us. They count on us.
Yeah.
They trust us. They love us.
Oh yeah. I mean, you see that story. God, I forgot her name, and there was this. I forgot if it was on Hulu. The girl that was in a wheelchair. Her mom faked it. The mom said she had cancer, had this, that, the other, and she literally kept giving her all these oh my gosh, what are you called, steroids and all these different drugs that she shouldn't be taking, and literally her teeth were falling. The girl, I forgot what her name was. It was in the early 2000s. Habitat for Humanity built her a house. I mean, it was a huge thing. I mean, who knows how many thousands of dollars were donated to her by country artists, all these different people. And in the end, because her mom was force-feeding, and then eventually, the daughter believed the whole time something was wrong with her, and then eventually, finally got to about 14, 15, realized something wasn't wrong with her, and guess what happened? She kills her mom eventually.
Yeah, right. So
what are you doing, people?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what? I
don't.
I'm right there.
I don't know who's listening, but if you are listening,
we got a few hundred listeners. Come on, listeners.
Yes,
got a couple hundred.
If you're a listener and you're a pedophile, please get help and stop harming children.
Yeah. Wow, it's sad. Let's get to some tidbits that aren't maybe so unfortunate.
Love it. Let's go.
Well, this one is, but it's just a no-brainer to me, but just a head-scratcher too. But the equal pay for the women's in soccer, I don't know why all of a sudden now the women, I get it. You're great. You're amazing. But you don't hear the UConn women basketball team going, well, we deserve to get paid too. I mean, not that they could, because not that you even hear NCAA play, but you get my point. That would be like saying that because they're successful. My point, understanding you're successful, you're better than the men, so you should probably get paid like the men. But why? Why aren't you? Remember. I shouldn't say remember. I'll just do this. Why doesn't the LPGA get paid like the PGA? Why didn't the WNBA get paid like the NBA? Why? Because their endorsements don't equal close to what the other is. That's why the PGA Tour now, and now it's still ramping up in the LPGA. It's going up and up. But that's the reason PGA Tour now. Remember back in the day, they'd get maybe a meal for. Well, they do get a meal still, maybe. Point being, it was close to when I first started really noticing it. I'd be like, wow, they're gonna make a meal this week, like in the late '90s, for a major. And I'm like, wow. Other tournaments like $200,000 to $300,000. Now, like every tournament's like $1 million they're winning plus. It's just because more and more revenue's coming into the sport. You're gonna get there. I love you, women. I supported you. I support the hell out of you. I still do.
Right.
But this is just unfortunate. It's just not there yet.
It's not there. Right.
Unless, and that's fine by me if they want to do it. Go ahead and say, hey, once again, which I forgot where I just saw this the other day. It was one of my investor guys, but as in our money in back by this gold brick back in the day, like as in pay these women if they want to get paid. If they're gonna, if they want money because they deserve equal pay, then just give it to them because they are not that they go play with the men that they're going to be just as good, but the quality of play by the U.S. women national team. I don't know now they're going to want that all over when you see it there, but you get my point. That's fine if you want to pay them because you can just come up with the money, but I don't want that because it's kind of setting a bad precedent essentially. So I'm like, once you're making that much money, you're bringing in that much revenue, and your endorsements and your sponsorships equal to what the men are making. That's why they're making that money. I mean, there's only one reason why. They're not. My point being, they're not going back to my rule. They're not. Dak, we'll get to our boy here in a minute. He doesn't want $40 million a year. That money isn't just because Jerry Jones can throw it out there. It's because the Cowboys are bringing in how much money a year?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's why they can afford that.
Right.
That's why.
Right.
So
well, there's nothing worse than greedy. There's nothing worse than a wealthy person.
And she is. I say she because there's. I'm not going to point out any of the names, but I mean, yes, these women are definitely wealthy, doing well.
Let's compare their bank account to mine.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
All right. So if you're wealthy and you're complaining that you don't have enough wealth, stop it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yep. I agree.
It's just ridiculous.
And I think a lot of it, like I said, comes back to we're winning, we're so good. They might even argue that probably, but that's just probably being a human. That's what's going to be in their head. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but until then get out there and be a salesman essentially. Go out there and say, hey, we want more money sponsors. Go to Gillette, go to all these or whoever sponsors all these other ones for the men.
And here's the other thing.
Why are you sponsoring these losers? Why don't you sponsor winners? Do that then.
Well, here's the other thing. What did you agree to play for?
There, yeah, and that's what they're going to. They're going to all these bargain agreements. Yeah, they're trying to now set. Yeah, exactly. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to raise what we're agreeing to pay for, essentially. And I understand that, but I'm like, well, they're going to come back and say, well, until someone pays us more money to pay y'all.
Okay, so I'll give you a little example on a small scale. Musicians are notorious for this. Let's say I get asked to do a gig this weekend.
Yeah.
And I say to the guy who's asking me to play the gig, how much does it pay? He says $200. I go, all right, I'll play for $200. So now I go to the gig and I play for $200. I find out the drummer's actually getting $300.
Yeah.
Or the vocalist is getting $400.
Yeah.
I don't go to the band leader and go, hey, dude.
Yeah. What's up?
You know why?
Equal pay.
You know why? Because I asked him, what does the gig pay? Yeah. He said $200. I said, okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If $200 wasn't okay, I should have said, no, I need $400.
Agree with you totally.
So you agreed to. Yeah. Don't get me going, man.
Right. Bama fan, Harvey Updike. The funny every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, I remember that name. But anyway, that's the guy. I always thought he was younger. But the guy, remember the Alabama fan that killed all the Auburn trees a few years back. Remember killed all the trees. And I can't believe it equaled up to $800,000 in fines. $800,000. Anyway, he's not paying up. 7 years old, and he's like, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not paying. Then I think he supposedly made a video where he finally made a $200 payment. But yeah, I'm like, wow. But that's funny that he's not made one payment to that. Well, because I'm sure he saw that. And he was like, hey, how old am I? You think I'm going to pay that back? Yeah, right.
Right.
Screw you, Alabama. Have fun. Or screw you, Auburn. I'm not paying your trees back. All right, and then this just blows my Antonio Brown not wanting the whole helmet issue.
Yeah, right.
It's just so goofy.
Yeah,
Once again, what did you pay for? And you know the rules. There's rules that you are binding to play by, essentially. Not essentially, you are.
The attitude is not for me.
I don't get it.
There aren't rules for me.
Yes, and now he's finally going to figure. I mean, he's going to play. Obvious. I mean, you're just like we'll get to them. Just like your boys here, our boys here in Dallas. Our boys, more your boys. But you get my point. I don't understand.
No, you're a Cowboy fan. I found out. I found out today. Yeah, I found out today.
Deep down inside.
Yeah, Herschel.
Right. Also,
Herschel.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm a Herschel Walker fan for sure. Okay. That dude is a stud.
He is a stud.
All right. Also, not paying up. Antonio Brown is not. I didn't realize this.
Oh yes.
Do you see that? Nice. The $40,000 bill he stiffed the chef.
Yeah, come on, right?
And then the chef goes back to try to get his stuff, and they won't let him in to get his stuff.
Oh my God.
The chef's like, you kidding me? He's worked with like Drew Brees, Jameis Winston. I mean, he's name dropping. I mean, he's literally called what's he called? Known as the sports chef. Are you kidding me? And this isn't his first time. This is his fourth off the field issue. Going back through, there were different ones over the past few years. Antonio Brown. I just don't get it.
Spoiled.
Yeah, I can't play with this helmet, but I'm not going to pay him $40,000 or let him get his gear.
Yeah, such an injustice.
Such
an injustice.
We'll get back to more football in a minute. Let's get to the Little League World Series real quick.
Yeah.
Have you been watching it up? I mean, I'm sure your kids have been loving it. Been a great tournament so far. First off, there was only one game yesterday. Curacao. Did you watch the game against Aussies?
I did. I missed it.
Australia blew them out, so there wasn't much of a game there. So today, though, we've got a slew of games. We've got South Korea versus Venezuela. We got Minnesota versus Kentucky. Japan versus Italy, Louisiana versus Hawaii, Mexico versus Canada, New Jersey versus Oregon. So
fantastic.
Great lineup.
Great fun.
Yes.
Great fun to watch the kids.
Great teams. Out of the Great Lakes area, I've got Bowling Green, Eastern Little League. I've got to give some got to give some love to these guys. Out of the Mid-Atlantic region, Elmora Youth Little League. Out of the Midwest, the Coon Rapids American League. New England region, we've got the Barrington Little League. Northwest region, the Sprague Little League. Northwest, the London South Little League, Southwest region, the East Bank Little League, and in the West region we have the Central East Maui Little League. And I saw earlier one of the obviously going through a slew of players, but like Gary Sheffield was in the Little League World Series forever.
Oh yeah,
I mean there've been a slew of names definitely enter it.
I just heard Gardner told me last night Profar's little brother is playing.
Hey, speaking of baseball, how about the Trout interview?
Oh yeah.
How about speaking of which, I'm gonna say, hey Pops. How'd you get the interview? We need him on Stud.
No doubt. Man, Mike Trout, are you kidding? You know how you know what I would be doing during that interview?
Your mouth open the whole time. I'm doing all the talking. That's all right.
That would be me right there.
Yeah, your son convenient. Y'all let him come in if he wants.
We were just like that.
Yeah. I'm like, so I'm having to pick Doc's mouth up off of his lap right now. I think he spilled his coffee. Right. So Mike, who do you think's better, you or Griffey?
Right. Oh yeah.
And I'd say that for sure. I'm right into that.
I'd love to see how he'd answer that.
Oh well, yeah, exactly. That's why I love asking. That's why when you're in the chamber.
You gotta be prepared.
You're in the chamber.
Tough question.
Tough question. Certainly. I love how Pops was even kind of thrown off today. I couldn't believe it.
He cracked me up, man. You're like ice cream or candy. He's like this.
I told you. I knew it for him. That's why I said it. I knew it was gonna be tough. Those were tough for him.
He goes, tough questions.
I couldn't believe it. So let's get to the top 50 best NCAA football programs of the past 150 years. So now you can go back 50 years, which you easily could have done in that. I like how they went ahead and just did pretty much the beginning of NCAA football is what they did. ESPN did this list, which they took all the stats in, all the numbers, all the records, and I like their list.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could do the last 50 years. I really wish they would have done this one because Razorbacks probably would have been like, I bet in the 25-ish.
Yeah.
But they made the list. So my Razorbacks made the list. But first off, have you seen the list? Did you?
I saw the article. I loved it because the photograph was the Crimson Tide against the Irish.
Yep. And who won?
Well, okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Okay.
But who? And
pre Nick Saban or after Nick Saban?
But anyway, who's number one on the list? Who do you think?
It's got to be Notre Dame.
It's Alabama.
Oh!
It is Alabama.
Oh, that's painful.
Have a rating of 74.9.
Where'd the Irish
Number
fall?
2 at 72 points. It is a difference of 1.5 points.
It had to be a Bama.
It's the closest differential.
Who wrote the article? A Bama fan?
It's ESPN. Like I said, they put all. Here's what they did: 50 years for everything. Let's see here. What are we doing here? I'm trying to find out where they added it. Where did they put together? Here we go. Finally. Several months ago, our Stats and Information group was presented with a huge challenge to rank the top programs in college football history. Our goal: honor the accomplishments of teams across 150 seasons, all divisions, while rewarding successful programs, blah, 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 blah. Teams should be judged by winning games and winning championships, since those winning records exist all the way back. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So they just took in everything. I'm not going to go through everything. So they took in every little aspect.
Academic requirements included in that? Probably not, right? That's why Alabama is number one and Notre Dame number two.
All right, SEC.
That's the bottom line.
SEC. Anyway, number one, Alabama.
If a stump could attend Notre Dame.
Who has more national titles?
Who has
more national titles?
If a stump could attend Notre Dame, then Notre Dame would have more national titles.
All right, so it's 15
But you got to be a little smarter than a stump.
All right, so it's 15 to 13, and it's a great battle. Like that's to me, those are the top two. You think of college football rivalry, like old school, those are the two teams I'd want to see playing, Alabama versus Notre Dame.
I'm going to tell you, when I was a boy, one of my fondest memories, South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame versus Alabama. I'm sitting on the 50-yard line, And guess who the coaches were? Just tell me. Just take a guess.
I got Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant comes out of the tunnel at Notre Dame. I see Bear Bryant come out of the tunnel at Notre Dame with that hat.
Yeah.
Guess who comes out leading the Irish?
Don't remember the Irish.
A gentleman by the name of Ara Parsegian.
Oh, yes. Nice. Forgot.
Ara Parsegian against Bear Bryant.
Wow. Classic right there, baby.
Classic.
And then
and Notre Dame won, by the way.
Boom. That had made it that much better. All right. Awesome. So number 3, Ohio State.
Yes.
They're there with a 69.6, 8 titles. Oklahoma at 4, 68.5, 7 national titles.
Who is number 3?
O State. So we got Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma to round out the top 5. USC with 9 national titles at 67.2. Right under, I should say, my bad. USC 9 national titles, 67.25. They're at number 5. Right below them and barely missing out is Michigan. And to me, it could be either way, USC, Michigan. Michigan's a 67.2.
Wow.
USC 67.25.
All major programs.
Both 9 national. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Then we're going old school. Then we got Yale at number 7 with 18 national titles. Wow. Nebraska, old schooler. Then Texas at 9. North Dakota State at 10. 15 national titles.
Wow, North Dakota State. But what is that, division?
Exactly.
What is it, Division 2?
Yes, Division 2, yes. Yeah. So, regardless. And then you throw in some Princeton, Penn State, Harvard, Tennessee's in there, LSU to round out the top 15, Mount Union, University of Miami, the U, St. John, Florida State, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Boise State, Clemson, and Grambling to round out the top 25.
Wow.
Hence my name. Wow, I didn't mean to say that. Hence the dominance of the SEC regardless.
Yes.
It looks like a normal top 25.
Right, that's right.
You got Georgia in there. You've got Florida, Auburn,
Alabama,
LSU, Tennessee. I mean,
you can't deny it.
You
can't deny it. Even if you hate SEC, you can't deny it.
It's crazy. That's one of the main reasons that I wanted to talk about it. And then also because my Hoggies, I'm like, they got to make it. They got to. They got a national title. They had that great 20-year, 25-year run from the 60s up into the 80s.
Where'd they fall?
Number 44. At 51.71 ranking, their one national title. I'll take it. Number 44
in the top 50. That's pretty good. You take it.
I'll take it. You got to take that.
You know they're celebrating in Fayetteville right now.
Oh,
right?
big time.
Oh, guys sitting down at the diner.
Hey man, you see this? Did you see this? Arkansas, we won 14 Southwest Conference titles when we were in the Southwest Conference. 14 of them. 7 in Frank Broyles' 19 seasons. Broyles was there.
That was glory days, right
58.
there.
He was there for 58 to 76. That's how long Frank Broyles was our coach. So, like, when you had the Bear Bryant, I mean, he was, back in the day, he was definitely, I guarantee you, a top 10 name easily.
Yeah,
And he obviously, I mean, definitely in this 50s, 60s, 70s, he's one you would have mentioned. So, definitely great to make the list. Loved it. It was a good list. I mean, you have, like I said, it's an argument at the top who's going number 1, Notre Dame, USC, or Notre Dame, Alabama. So,
did they include Heisman Trophy winners in that, or
it didn't say actually? I didn't. Like I said, I just read through that. So so that is be intriguing to see further in how they came up with that. Right. BMW Championship. Got to dive into this real quick. As the FedEx Cup races on. My point being Tiger played. So it was good to see Tiger play yesterday. Shot 1 under and point. I meant to say he birdied his first hole. He was at 1 under, and I was like, oh, well, here we go. That's where he ended his day, 1 under. I think he got like the 2 or 3 under, but ended at 1 under. Right now, currently, had the leaderboard pulled up. Lucas Glover, Matsuyama, Hideki Matsuyama, who's won a lot. And then a guy I haven't, who's this? Something Hadwin, Adam Hadwin. Anyway, Adam Hadwin, obviously he's good enough to be, he's got to be, I think it's top 70 this week, and then the top 30 in the FedEx Cup points make it into the last week's tournament, which is next week. My point being, he's tied for first place right now. So, good, like I said, plenty of Americans up there, but it's just Brooks Koepka, I think, is in the lead of the FedEx Cup chase right now. So we'll kind of update that next week, especially on Friday, since it's the end all be all. Who's going to take home the championship? Tiger won that tournament last year, and I think because he won that, ended up getting like he was second or third overall. I think he ended up finishing second because if he would have finished a certain amount of points ahead of because it was Justin Rose that won, but Justin Rose did pretty good in the tournament, so Justin Rose had to finish a certain. But yeah, since Tiger won, it was great. But my point being, if Justin Rose would have finished like say 7th or 8th, I forgot what it was, Tiger would have won last year.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and I didn't realize after the little bit of success late last year into earlier this year, had a little bit of success. Obviously, not too much lately. He's 6th in the world. I didn't realize he was 5th. Now he dropped to 6th.
Wow,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Wow,
it's interesting.
Very interesting.
I wonder how they came up with that.
Yeah, it's. Well,
Seems odd to me.
Well, it's the world ranking, so it's a golf world ranking. So they've had it forever. So it's the tournaments and it's everything from 365 days ago to the previous day. So yeah, it's crazy that he's 5th, 6th in the world.
Yeah, I would not have.
Did you catch the Raiders Cardinals game last night? I
did not. I don't watch preseason football. I'm not a big
I need to quit
preseason.
asking.
I'm just not a big preseason.
You need to quit asking.
It's kind of boring.
Yep, it is. It is for the most part. Week 2. Raiders last night destroyed the first team of the Cardinals. Cardinals' first team, as in Kyler Murray, looked pretty decent in his first open. I think he was 6
Did he look
7.
okay?
Looked terrible last night.
He did look terrible?
He looked like a gazelle. Like I remember reading one post. Looked like a gazelle running from lions. I mean,
I told you that was my fear, man. I said that last year,
and especially in that
man.
offense where he's in gun a lot.
You know what?
He was in there till 7 minutes left in the second quarter. The Raiders' first team, Derek Carr, only went the very first drive. He's in there till the very halfway through this. He's in there a quarter and a half. They're only in one drive. So he's still probably facing somewhat a first team, maybe somewhat first team defense Raiders. I don't know. But when he left the field, his very last play was a safety. He took a safety. He scrambled around. He got sacked. Anyway, scrambled around. I just remember the safety where he scrambled. He did a small little scramble. There's a couple ones. Right? I was like, he does. He looks like a gazelle running from a lion.
Well,
anyway, it was a mini scramble because he didn't have much time to scramble like a gazelle. And he pretty much fell down right at the goal line. Safety. The score was 26-0. He's facing the Raiders. Essentially, mostly it's got to be second quarter. If the first team's offense isn't out there.
It's going to be ugly, dude. I'm telling you. You know what he was thinking last night when he was laying on the ground there in the safety? This ain't Allen. This is not Allen High School anymore.
Yeah.
This ain't Oklahoma anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa.
These guys can move and they're huge.
I wish I was playing at Allen High School.
Yeah. So we got some games on tonight. One on the NFL Network. Your Bears, your old school Bears take on an old school rivalry. Bears versus Giants. Just seeing those old school. And
yeah. What's with Howie Long's son, man? What's up with that? What's up with that guy?
What about him, Chris?
Yeah, he got kicked out of practice, beating some guy with a helmet.
He's all.
What the heck is the deal with that? Come on, Howie, talk to him.
Right? Yeah.
Come on. Be a dad.
Hey, let's get to your Cowboys.
Okay.
Your Cowboys with Zeke. Now Dak wanting $40 million a year. Rodgers just set the record at 30-something million a year. You think you're even close? And I think he's super overrated. Aaron Rodgers is. They just came out with a list not too long ago. I saw another, and I wanted to bring it up. I was like, it's just done by some Instagram website. This isn't like a huge poll. I forgot where it was originally from. Some writer. It wasn't done like this ESPN where it was done by a mass people. This was done by one person, and he had Aaron Rodgers like at 10. I'm like, people love Aaron Rodgers. My point being, Aaron Rodgers is definitely a top quarterback of all time. He just got paid, as he should be, the top quarterback, as he is, probably one of the top quarterbacks, if not the, in the league. Dak, how many Super Bowls have you won? Are you even close to being compared to Aaron Rodgers, who really has nothing close to what you have, and Amari Cooper, and especially what you've had since you've had day one, Ezekiel Elliott, as in a stud running game and running back. And yet you think you deserve 6, 7, 8 more mil a year than discount double check?
Yeah. Goodbye, Zeke.
And goodbye, Dak. You want Dak at $40 million? No, they're not. He turned down a $30 million
goodbye,
a year.
Dak.
$30 million a year.
Goodbye.
That's what he should get paid in my eye. Okay, you know what? You are very close to being elite. You're not there. You haven't won many playoff games, especially without the help of a running game and a wide receiver. You know what I mean? As in Rodgers. Not that he's had that many, but you get my point. Aaron Rodgers, you can't name me a wide receiver running back he's had.
You thinking Dak Prescott is almost there?
I'm saying the fact that he turned down he turned down $30 million a year. That to me is
it's insane.
It's insane money. I say he's almost there, so I'm giving him the shadow. I wouldn't say shadow it out because I've seen him play pretty well. But point being, even $30 million for me is a lot for him. I think he's in the $25 to $27 million. And here's what's even outrageous. Let me throw these numbers on you. When Peyton Manning was redoing his deal that he signed for, that he was going to honor, when they were trying to redo his deal in his last couple of years to try to free up a little room like any smart quarterback does, because even $20 million a year takes up a lot of calories. Imagine double that. Imagine $40 million a year, how much you're eating into your salary cap and how much money you can't sign your lineman you want to protect you, your running back you want running for you. Anywho, ridiculous idea person. Anyway, I'm not going to go name calling, but I'm just like, you get my point where I'm just like, how do you not realize that? But point me in. Back to Peyton Manning. $20 million a year he was making. Tom Brady probably still in that same line. That was what the top paid quarterback was getting in 2013, 14, 15. Now all of a sudden it's $40 million? And Now that it is, and the people that like are the mediocres of the world, the Brock Osweilers that came after Peyton and thought, oh, well, you Broncos, your 17, 18 mil a year isn't enough, even though you were just paying Peyton that essentially. I'm going to go, and you're going to pay me 16 mil. I'm going to go to the Houston Texans for 18, 19 mil a year. And you see what happens to Brock Osweiler. Now,
Who?
Exactly.
Who?
Now those quarterbacks in the league like him that are just the mediocres that get you through a year or two are going to want 20, 25 mil a year. That, oh, by the way, pretty much one of the GOATs, Peyton Manning, and definitely the GOAT, Tom Brady, were essentially making. Definitely Tom, and I know it's just 2 or 3, but we're not talking decades. We're talking 2 or 3, 4 years, and all of a sudden y'all are winning 30, 40 mil a year. Peyton Manning in his last year essentially was around the 20-year mark.
I don't know what the deal is, but if Jerry Jones needs to just cut bait, man. Just say goodbye.
Sorry on my long rant there, but I just don't get these guys. They went
goodbye.
40 mil a year when they were just getting 20 mil, and like I said, now you're eating into the rest of the salary that you can't sign other players?
Yeah, they haven't even done anything.
And on top of the fact, they haven't been like Peyton and won Super Bowls for you, or Rodgers who's at least won one for you.
And honestly, I like Dak Prescott.
He's a great guy, too, on top of the fact. He's a great guy on and off the field. Great guy.
I like him, but I don't think he's that good.
Yeah.
I just don't.
And he's exactly.
I don't think he's that good.
It'd be like saying, here's another sport, another team, another whole different scenario. I'm just going to bring this up. Just say, I'm just going to, obviously, just to throw names out there. Oh, I'm trying to think one that's relative for everyone so that you understand. Man, I don't know why Coutinho Mobley is in my name, but why not Vince? I'm trying to think of a mediocre player that's man. Oh my God, I'm just trying to think of a mediocre player that's
in the NBA,
any league really. I'm just trying to think. Right now. I'm going like super mind blank. It is terrible right now. I am trying to think of. Oh my gosh, just a normal average guy that's just kind of like your my point being.
Okay, how about this? How about Derek Holland?
Whoever that guy, he's got to play.
Pitcher used to pitch for the Rangers. Just gave up a grand slam to Bryce Harper last
regardless,
night.
And I'm saying the guy
Derek Holland, nice
say,
guy, average pitcher.
Say he's a 10 mil a year guy, and that's what he's in the 5 to 10 mil a year range or whatever. That I'm just saying, he's in the 5 to 10 mil a year range. Now all of a sudden, he's winning 25 mil. A year.
Because I'm thinking of Derek while you're saying this, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get my point, yeah. So I'm just trying to think of anyone that's middle of the run because I'm just trying. I mean, there's something I'm mind blank because I can't even think of names right now.
Because I know if Derek requested that kind of money, the baseball gods and the baseball coaches and managers and GMs,
you'd see that. You're like, oh, okay. And that's how most should do with Dak. I mean, you're not worth. My point being, like, the main thing is you're not worth that amount of money. I'm sorry, you're just not.
You're just not.
And then in the end, you're eating into how much salary. So now you can't sign other players like your running back that needs to be signed that's also fighting like you are.
We'll draft a new quarterback every year. Just draft a new quarterback every year and then let him go.
I just don't get it.
Forget it.
I get he's a great guy. And
just forget it.
I just don't get it. How you turn down $30 million a year, it just blows my mind. And
Goodbye.
That's what he should have been paid.
Goodbye.
And that's still leading into a lot of year. And they asked me, by the way, forgot to bring it up. I was on the show with No Name, Dad's show, 103.7 The Buzz yesterday. They were out Hounds Lounge in Little Rock. They do their little remote, so they're out doing a live location. So they're out, hey, you know what? Better person. Basil texts me. Basil, shout out to David Basil, Uncle Bazinator, Uncle Baz. He was like, hey man, no better person to talk to. You should call in. We're at Hounds Lounge. Let's talk dogs, and then you can sneak in Stud and Dud. I'm like, perfect. So I did that. But yeah, it's just they asked us essentially Roger, because Roger is a huge Cowboys fan. And grew up, anyway, like a lot of people are in Arkansas, but was just asking me like, hey, what's up with you and Doc? What do y'all think? No, we're the same. I'm not even that, obviously a secret Cowboys fan. I'm that closet Cowboy. Not really. I'm not anymore, but still, I have a brain to be a fan for any team. And yeah, I'd be like, no. And Doc especially saying cut him. His back was Zeke to now Dak. I haven't talked to him about Dak, but I know he's going to say the same thing.
Cut him. This is why.
Don't give him that deal.
This is exactly why I prefer college football over pro football.
Yeah, and my dad as well.
This reason right here.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
I don't get it. I really, like I said, they're offering you $30 million a year. You're making more than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. And they don't wait on the height. And I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'd love to ask these guys, being a reporter, and I'm like, man, these are the questions I would love to ask him, and if he would even answer it.
Listen,
but being in the locker room and say, I know you want $40 million a year, but do you think about how that affects the rest of your team and the fact that you may not be able to sign other players? Do you ever think about that? Or do you just think about you and your money?
Oh, that's all they think about. But because we live in a world of narcissism. But look, would you like to make just 1 year in your life, and just think of your entire lifespan? Would you not like 1 year to make $30 million in that year?
I mean, one.
Just one. Just one. Would you not be on?
Now imagine that. I can make that last forever and ever and ever.
Forever and ever and ever.
That's what I'm like. What are these dudes doing in the offseason that they think they need 30 mil? I mean, they really, in that 6 months, blow 30 mil and then they need 30 mil again?
And they haven't stopped to think about normal. This is why this is a podcast for normal folk.
And what they need to do in college, and I think they should do it in high school. And what, especially, obviously, he doesn't get a chance when we had the great actor and Sean. Anyway, we had Sean on. Anyway, but that's why I asked him, like, these things need to be talked about and ingrained to these kids' head about talking about money and how to be responsible with it when they get
because obviously they don't.
Anyway, to the greatest thing about week 2 in preseason. Broncos end off because they always do this every year. They have Thursday night football, but they don't do Thursday night football like it's on NBC, I think, normally. Anyway, they do Monday night football on Thursday night. So because last night was on ESPN, it was Monday night football on Thursday. Yeah, so weird.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Anyway, back to Monday, ending off week 2. It's my Broncos. Monday night football, the actual real Monday night, and it will be on ESPN again. So
I might tune in.
Monday night, it's an old school rivalry. 49ers, Broncos, old school, NFC versus AFC, 80s essentially when they would destroy us. But anyway, 49ers at the Broncos, I'll be watching that. Have nothing to watch Monday night on the beach. I'm going to be full of seafood. I'm going to be just, oh, yeah. What?
You know what, man? I was just thinking, you know what I would do if I was Jerry Jones, just to go back that for a second?
What's that?
I'd cut Dak and I'd hire Kaepernick for $10,000.
I mean, right? Yeah. I mean, and you know how much he loves pub. You know how much pub that's going to bring in? I mean.
Right? Wouldn't that be something, right?
Love it.
Cut Dak.
Yeah.
Bring in Kaepernick.
Yeah, do it. I'm down. I'd love to see it. He's ready to play. He's still working out. Have you seen that lately? Too? That was the other story. He's ready to play.
He signed for less than $30 million a year.
Yeah, exactly. He'd sign for probably $10K a game he'd sign for.
Right.
All right, let's get to the Stoner Dud segment for sure. And we could have brought this up last week that it happened in week 1. Damon Sheehy Giuseppe. Had to make sure I said that right because it's a little difficult name to say there. Damon Sheehy Giuseppe. Have you heard that? Did you see the story?
No.
Let's go through the rundown that led up to the events that blew up and made headlines for this Cleveland Brown. Event 1. Didn't earn a scholarship at JUCO Phoenix College, 2016. 2. Went searching for bigger opportunities, 2017.
I do know this story. Yes, it's awesome.
Struck out, and I won't keep saying 3, 4, 5, but I'll just kind of go on along. Struck out with SEC and Big 12 schools. Ran out of money to return to school. Trained over a year looking for tryouts. Drove to Las Vegas and paid $100 for a CFL tryout. Was told afterward the team was full. Tryout was pointless. Went to Atlanta for an Arena Football League tryout. Nothing came of it. I mean, you're thinking the dude's stopping by now, right? Was tipped off finally from a flag football friend about a tryout in Miami earlier this year. Was given the address but was told he was not invited. So he was told to find Brown's vice president of player personnel, old school, Alonzo Highsmith. Googled the name to find out who he was. Didn't even know who Alonzo Highsmith was. Lied at the check. Went to the tryout, the workout. Lied at the check-in for the workout that he knew Alonzo Highsmith. Found Highsmith, did an old school movie scene, tricked him, met him, and made it seem like he had known him for years.
Just acted like it.
Yeah, hey, what's up, man? What's up, Mr. Highsmith? You don't remember me? Mr. Giuseppe. I'm Giuseppe, man. Come on. Tried out and ran. This helped. Ran a 4.38. Yeah, that's going to help. People are going to, whoa, what did he just run? Oh, Giuseppe is pretty quick, man. Giuseppe. I love that last name. All right, so was offered a chance to visit with the Browns, obviously, after that, and then tricking old Highsmith that he knew him. So anyway, slept out. This is how I know where he's obviously. I'm sure by this time low on funds. And anyway, slept outside and also in a fitness center while waiting. At the facility. Tried out for the team. Became a member officially of the Browns on April 5th. Oh, by the way, it's a great day. It's my mom's birthday. Shout out, Mom. It's my mom. April 5th, my mom's birthday, which we also did a podcast that day. Remember? Love you, Mom. Anyway, but yeah, finally, literally tonight, a few months later, still on the team somehow. Returns a punt, 86 yards for a touchdown. Stud. And I mean, they're freaking out. I mean, the whole bench, it was like a fight, but the whole bench cleared. Bench clearing, all the Cleveland Browns are out there freaking out.
What's studly about that is not, the run back is great, but it's the story up to the
Exactly.
Never
give up.
That's phenomenal.
Never give up, people.
Yeah.
Like,
phenomenal.
All the times in life where you want to give up, just don't. I mean, when you have a dream, yes, I mean, there might be finally there's something, but he never really ran into that. My leg's cut off. One of those type moments where, like, okay, obviously I'm not playing.
Yeah.
He just kept pushing.
Kept pushing.
It's
awesome. Good for
him. He knew he ran a 4. He's like, man, I ran a 4.344. My name's Giuseppe. Who wouldn't want that on the back of their jersey in the stands? Love it. Love the story.
A fan fave.
You got to. And got a shout out to Rob Flickinger. Old boy Rob.
Yep.
Flick. Dallas Roughnecks.
Remember I know it. He was out there last weekend.
Did you see him play, though? Did you watch him last weekend?
No, I did not.
I say luckily. Avery had to go to Little Rock for work, so luckily I got to catch, extra.
Did you watch it?
I watched him beat the San Diego whatevers in the
Flick?
semis. I didn't see Flick. But then I watched the championship game when they lost to New York.
Yeah.
But I watched both of them. And I was like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm catching this. This is sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It was cool to watch. And then especially catching, talking about it earlier with
Right.
Flick. Then I'm catching them, and wow, they made it to the semis, and see how good they are. Because they won in 2016.
Yeah, he flew out there. He took the weekend off. He flew out there.
Because he said, I think, how much,
Yeah.
Because last year they won the championship game, lost. So 2 years in a row they lost in the championship game.
Yeah.
Hurt. Hey, round of applause. Let's got to give it up
Rob
for
Flickinger.
the Roughnecks. And definitely Flick. Yeah, that was, hey. But it was great to watch this weekend, so I was glad to tune into a little AUDL.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, get two stud moments. Definitely Roughnecks. And
we have we have a studette moment today too.
What's that?
My beautiful bride is celebrating her birthday today.
Oh, talk about birthdays. You could have brought it up when I brought my mom's birthday up. There
Well,
you go.
now
you're bringing it up. Hey, okay.
So you better say something to her on Facebook, or it could be the end of Stud and Dud.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying.
Happy 37th.
Let's go with that.
Gotcha. I love it. I love 7, so wasn't gonna go 47.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
I like 37.
Let's just go with that.
But yeah, man, that's congratulations. And what do you any big plans tonight?
Yeah, big plans. She's taking
Denny's?
No.
When is it IHOP?
IHOP
Valentine Denny's for her birthday.
Yeah, no. She's taking Gardner up to. Gardner was invited to go to University of Oklahoma this weekend, so he's up at Oklahoma with the coaches
Boomer
up there.
Sooner wouldn't mind that either.
Right.
It's all right. And much I've really way over Texas. A lot of my friends in Arkansas obviously being another kind of rival state in the team. So not many Boomer Sooner fans in Arkansas, but I like that much more so than any Texas team. I'm sorry, unless it's CCU.
Right.
Love if he went to that. Purple would look so good on him. Oh, but by the way, the picture she posted of him not too long ago in the Razorback shirt.
Oh yeah, you like
love that.
You like that, man?
Love that. So let's definitely we want to woo Pig Suey it all day long.
He's got a big few weeks coming up, man. He's going to Oklahoma this weekend. Alabama invited him to their place coming up here in a couple weeks, and then he got an invite from the Irish.
Ooh, yeah, that's what I was hoping. I know y'all are hoping for Notre Dame.
He's got a big roundup. About big roundup.
That's good. Well, I've got a couple of calls in already. So we'll to DVH Dave Van Horn.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get him back up there on the hill.
He wants to go back up.
Because guess what? None of these other places have a gold mine called the Catfish Hole.
They don't have the Catfish.
They don't.
They don't.
Let's just be real.
They don't have it.
They just don't.
It's just not there.
Beautiful weather. He's gonna see you once a year in the fall. All right. Until next week's show. Let's get to this, though. I'll be in Florida next week.
Yes.
We're going to do a little preview of the fantasy football draft we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm good
for it. I'm good for it, man.
We'll do a quick little show, nothing too long, for 30, 45 minutes, because I'll be on the beach. You'll hear a little...
Oh, nice.
I'll put a little sand on the phone.
Nice.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
But listen, we'll go over we'll do the fantasy football preview. We'll maybe find something else to talk about. We'll definitely do the fantasy football preview, because the week we get back, let's do it live right here on the show. I'll figure out how we want to do it, get it set up for Yahoo, ESPN. Cannot wait. We've got, maybe that's what we'll expand on next week. We'll find obviously, we've got to keep that going. What's up, Dak? We'll find you. I'm sure you'll have something else to talk about within a day. We can get off the show, and we're going to find something new.
Are you kidding me?
All right. Also, besides the fantasy football, that we're doing next week, we'll do a little What's Up, Doc. And on top of that, we're going to see how tan I can get in a week. Because I can't wait, baby. I'm already ready. I'm already in vacation mode. I've got the shirt on today. I didn't really talk about it. New shoes. I've not worn this pair before.
I got my new
another pair. Look, we're doing good with colorways lately. We're doing great. I'm trying to get new colors, so we're keeping it flowing. All right, though. Hey, I have a great week ahead of me. I can't wait.
Have fun, man. Enjoy.
Get some pictures for the coast. You've been eating well lately.
Oh, I've been eating.
Barbecue. Cadillac barbecue.
Right here, man, right down the street.
I've got to try it. And then what was the breakfast this morning?
Ida Claire's.
Oh, Ida Claire's.
Did that look good?
Ida had me hungry.
Man, you got to check it out, man.
All right, all that and much more. Don't forget, you got to subscribe to us if you have not yet. All those people. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, YouTube. We got stories. We got videos. Visit the website, studdandud.com. Beautiful stuff we're working on. We got surrounding cast. I'm going to try to get on the show with No Name a lot more.
We got some big guests coming up, too.
Oh, yeah. A couple of big guests. We got another former NFL player. Yep. Looks like we have a chef coming on. Speaking of chefs earlier, we won't stiff our chef, though.
No, we're not going to stiff him.
We're not stiffing him.
No, we don't do that.
No. All right, thank you all for listening. Until next time, I'm Josh Mint.
Bob Lawrence.
Peace.